Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture. The host, Sam, the Queen of Rock and Roll Dogs.
Hello everyone, I'm Sam, the Queen of Rock and Roll Dogs, and you are listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio, a rock and roll show all about pets, people, and pop culture. I'm live from Las Vegas, and today I'm talking about probiotics and Alabama rot, so stay right there.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Hello everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Sam, the Queen of Rock and Roll Dogs, and you are listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. We're a rock and roll show all about pets, people, and pop culture, and I'm live from boiling hot Las Vegas. So welcome to the show. Good morning, Jim. Jim's here, my co-host.
Good morning. Morning.
How did your morning start, Jim?
It started at about 5:50 in the morning when I took the two monkeys out for their walk.
We call the dogs the two monkeys, and so many people say, you have monkeys? No. That's what we call our dogs.
They just act like monkeys. So we were out walking. We did our thing, and we got maybe 40 minutes in today. I think we stayed mostly in freshly watered grass. The park.
Oh, it's already been watered then.
Yeah, so it was cool, and they got wet a little bit, and so we did that, and it just got to the point where the sun was just too high, and we just came back in.
I know. It's all
got
you can.
Some water.
It's all you can do in summer.
They're sequestered for the rest of the day.
That's right. Here are my very, very simple tips for living in Las Vegas, which is don't go outside if you really don't have to. That applies to everybody. We've had a couple of days where there's no way I was leaving my house to get into a hot car to run an errand, to do anything unless I had to really leave the house. It's been brutal. Last night, we were out 10 p.m. picking up some food. It was 104. It was 104. So, yeah, when it comes to your pets, let me tell you something. It is so uncomfortable. Even late at night and the sun has gone down, it's just uncomfortable to go out. The ground is still super hot. It's just not worth it. We just wait for the temps to drop down a little bit. Keep them nice and busy at home, and it's the best way. It's the best way to be during summer in the desert. It's pretty rough. I had to bring all my succulents in this week, Jim.
I know you did. You didn't do it. I did it.
I think I was a day away. You brought me 2 plants in.
I brought in all the heavy ones.
2.
And
I brought about maybe 30 plants in. I think I was a day away from losing everything. I thought they're about to just fry in the heat.
We usually traditionally go away for our vacation in June, sometimes to visit family.
Yes.
Usually we come back from our vacation in June and the backyard is fried.
That's right. It takes a lot of care, just like your pets, a lot of care and nurturing. Well, if you are new to the show, thank you for listening in. If you're one of our regular listeners, I'm always glad that you're here. And here's how you can connect with us on the internet. Now, of course, our website, really simple, is vegasrockdogradio.com. That's the hub of the show. You'll find us on Periscope, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr, Instagram. And our blog is therockandrolldog.com. We'll let you know who's coming on the show on the website, and we tell you who's been on the show. So we put the actual archive up there. I like to do a lot of recommendations. Currently, I've got a Patriotic Pets blog post up there, which has some really fabulous July the 4th, Independence Day, items for your pets. Because everyone likes to dress up, and it's becoming more and more common for the pets to dress up in the red, whites, and blues. So that's the rockandrolldog.com. Well, now we do have an app, and the app is yap.us, YAPP.us, and it's free. Download it, and then you're going to download a Vegas Rock Dog Radio onto the app. As I say, it's free. Now, another place where you can listen to the show free after the live show is iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spoke, which is the new podcast app from SiriusXM Radio. Very excited to be on that platform. And if you have a different kind of app for podcast listening, you'll find us. Just search Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Well, I do have a tip of the week. It's not really, well, it is kind of a tip. It is kind of a tip. Here's my tip of the week, Jim. Like I said, you've got to keep your pets busy in summer.
And keep him distracted from biting his paws right now. Now look at him. Look at him.
Oh, that's Mr. Twix. He's such a little
He's
comic.
on his back, all four spread out, expecting me to give him some rubs.
That's how he likes to live. He's got us wrapped right around his little paw. And we just do whatever he wants, basically. And Miss Thornton, whatever they want, whatever makes them happy, we just do it. It's their world and we're living in it. Well, it is summer, like I said. And it can be a little bit boring for you and your pets, actually. Although, personally, I don't think I've ever used the word boring ever in my life, or I'm bored ever in my life. I've always got a lot to do, but this is great. If you head on over to mypositivelypets.com, so that's PAW, mypositivelypets.com, there's a blog post, and it's showing you how to make toys, games, treat dispensers, DIY projects, and we're on it. I did a DIY braided.
I think people might
braided
not know why DIY is. That's an English thing.
Oh, it's starting to become more popular here. With DIY is do it yourself. I know a couple of years ago I would say DIY and everyone had no clue what the heck I was saying. But yes, a do it yourself blog post of toys, games, and treat dispensers that you can make. One of them, we were featured. One of ours was featured. They reached out and said, can we have your project on our blog post, because we want to put this group post together of fun things to create for summer for your pets. And if you head on over to mypositivelypets.com, this link, of course, is going to be on Facebook, and the project blog post is called DIY Dog Toy Projects to keep your dog. Just search DIY Dog Toy Projects, and you'll find them on that. There's some really fun ones and easy, and keeps you busy, keeps your pets busy, and you get to make them something. That's nice. I love that you can make your own things. Well, here's something I watched. You haven't had a chance to watch it just yet, Jem, and that is the new documentary. It's a very short one. It's about 35 minutes long, and it's called Inside the Tanks. It's a documentary, and it was promoted through Rico Barry's network. Okay. And it's just another updated one where this English guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head unless Jim wants to research it. It's called Inside the Tanks.
You have my pad.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have your phone?
No.
Oh, yeah, use mine. Use mine.
Thanks.
It's an English guy. I want to say the guy's also a comedian. I think he's a very, very passionate animal lover. And he wanted to get a two-sided documentary put together, not just from people who are against, it's not SeaWorld, it's very similar. It's very, very similar in Europe. In France, I want to say. He wanted to get the opinions of people that do not like, SeaWorld, aquarium, dolphin, whale show type businesses and think it's very, very cruel. And, of course, they're not living naturally. And then he also wanted to get the opinions from inside these companies, from trainers and from...
What am I searching for?
Oh, Inside the Tanks documentary. And as you would expect, as I think they did, they came across this when it came to SeaWorld, is you get a lot of runaround when you're trying to connect with people to get these interviews from inside these companies. And they give them a runaround. I probably would have given up sooner than he stuck it out, because he just kept calling. They gave him a number that was a telephone number that didn't even exist, and finally he gets to meet with someone. And I won't go into any more detail because I don't want to spoil it for you. I want to be able to watch the documentary itself. What's the gentleman's name, Jim?
I'm almost there.
Almost there. But again, it brings it more into the limelight again. Can you believe that Blackfish came out in 2013? That was 4 years ago. 4 years ago. And what a difference that 4 years has made. I did get to meet Rick O'Barry. Highlight of my life, let me tell you that. I have so much respect for this guy to go from training dolphins.
Jonny Meah, Meah.
Oh, okay.
Is the producer.
Jonny Meah. Yeah, he's English. And you can watch it on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type in Inside the Tanks documentary. But yes, Rick O'Barry put this out through his network. This is someone who has been on both sides, where he was Flipper's trainer and Flipper was a number of dolphins. And there was a point where one of the dolphins, in his own words, he said, committed suicide right in front of his face because they choose to breed.
It was one of the Flippers that he trained back in the day, wasn't it?
Well, there were 6 of them, yeah. Mm-hmm. But that was one of his favorites, which was Kathy. He was connected to her, and he went to see after the show closed, and said she looked just dreadful and depressed. And he said she looked at him right in his eyes, and she took a breath, and she just sunk herself to the bottom and killed herself right in front of his eyes. And that was the day that he said his life's work would be to prevent dolphins going into captivity and also get them released back into the wild. Incredible person. He's got to be early 70s maybe now, maybe 70. And this is his life's work. And he said, when my phone rings, it's to help an animal all over the world. He goes all over the world. So he does know both sides of it. So there's no lying about what happens within these water parks. These what was the name of the one in the documentary, Jim? It's called. It's not SeaWorld. It's one you would know though. I mean, it's a lesser one, but they kind of fly under the radar because everybody goes for the SeaWorld.
I just found the documentary's main page, but it doesn't say.
Well, we'll find it on a break and we'll let you know. But head on over to YouTube and you'll be able to find Inside the Tanks documentary. Now, before we get on to probiotics and Alabama rot... Marineland, yeah, which, as I say, it's a lesser known, but it's still, yeah. And they get their animals from SeaWorld. They all trade and sell, buy, you name it, all over the world to these different water parks. It's a big business. It's not isolated to certain countries. This week I was on Fox 5, which I love going on there. I've been on there for years. I go on as their Pet Pal Pro, and it was
British Insider as well. Remember you did?
Yes, I did some British Insider stuff too. It's always fun. I went to talk about Take Your Dog to Work Day. Now, I do work from home, so I'm very, very lucky. I don't have to ask any permission to bring my dogs to work. And I did post a picture on Friday of Mr. Twix shredding some paper. And he is the chief shredder. So he has a good job. He's got a well-paying job, and he's very, very good at it. And I would never replace him. I don't think anyone could shred paper quite as good as he does.
Galaxy was a good paper shredder.
She loved the sound of it. She loved the sound of the paper ripping.
She liked to rip paper open.
So if you took your dog to work, whether you work from home or you went to the office, post your pictures and your videos. There were some hilarious ones yesterday. And I just think it's great because a lot of research has proven people are happier, more productive, less stressed, more relaxed at work with a pet. There's a Japanese firm that's actually bringing in almost like resident cats, is what it is, for their workers to feel more relaxed and more productive. And of course, your pets are happier because they're with you. So I went on and I took 2 of my niece dogs, as I like to call them, Matty and Lucy. And it was their first time on TV. It was their debut. And they were a hit. They were little stars. They were really cute and really funny. And it does prove a point. Dogs do make people happy in the workplace. So they got to go around the offices at Fox 5 and prove the point. So that was really, really fun. Well, Jim, let's take a quick break because what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to talk about probiotics. probiotics. And you will have heard that thrown around. If you're not already using them, you may have heard about it on social media and the people that you follow, your favorite veterinarians and nutritionists for pets. But maybe you've got a lot of questions and we're going to answer them for you. So we'll be right back. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host, the Queen of Rock and Roll Dogs.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
At Carl's Jr., not only do we make you happy with our delicious charbroil burgers, we also make your dogs happy. Come through our drive-thru with your furry friends and we'll offer them a treat. We love to see their smiling faces. Our website, carlsjroflasvegas.com, has a treat in store for its customers too, with free coupons anytime, so visit us often. Carl's Jr. is a proud and active supporter of animal adoption in our community. You can find us at carlsjroflasvegas.com.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Welcome back, everyone. Like I said, we're going to talk about probiotics. Jim, you take probiotics, don't you? Do you take them regularly?
I take probiotics once a week. Same day I give them to the dogs.
I am rather dreadful when it comes to supplements for myself.
You're not very good.
I just forget.
Although you're starting to take up all my vitamin Ds.
Oh, now he doesn't like it. He'd get mad at me because I didn't take them regularly. And now, yeah, those bottles are emptying a little bit faster than they used to. Well, probiotics. I do know a lot of people that do give probiotics to their pets. And our veterinarian suggested we did ours once a week. She said, just to keep a healthy gut and, dogs ingest all kind of manner of things throughout the week. You never know. I mean, with Mr. Twix, you never know what he's dragging into the house. I mean, he's usually got leaves and twigs and stuff in his tail, and he loves a good old bit of dirt, that dog. And so there's a lot of information online, and with anything that's new, it can be, well, it's not really that new, but anything you don't know about, it can be confusing and a lot of information to wade through. And so basically you'll have a lot of questions. So if you are planning on giving your dogs probiotics or you find it a bit of a mystery to you, I've done my usual research, scanning the internet, reading the latest information to hopefully answer some of your questions. And of course, there are some incredible health benefits to taking probiotics. Now, a lot of you would have heard of Dr. Jean Dodds. She's a pioneer. She's a pioneer in the veterinary world. This is a very, very knowledgeable woman. What's the matter, Jim? You're looking at me very strangely. What do you need?
I just want you to do a quick technical adjustment for sound, please, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, okay.
Move your pop filter off of the screen of the microphone.
Oh,
so that's about a half inch away. There you go.
Okay. Is that better?
Yep.
All right. Now we're good. Now we're in good shape. So I'm talking about Dr. Jean Dodds. I looked at some of her work. I looked at some of Dr. Karen Becker's work. I found some stuff on Dogs Naturally. So I went all over the place to try and compile this information for you, and so that you can have a little bit more of an insight actually into probiotics and a little bit more guidance on how you can get started with them. So Dr. Jean Dodds, she considers them to be a functional superfood. Superfood is always a good word. And she says, as many as you know, probiotics are microorganisms or good bacteria that provide beneficial effects to humans and animals, including preventing the overgrowth of bad bacteria in the gut, improving gastrointestinal health, and delaying or preventing the onset of food sensitivities. That's interesting. And recent research indicates that probiotics may offer anti-cancer benefits also. And she believes dogs should be given probiotics regularly for a variety of reasons.
Like my new favorite YouTube and Facebook guy, Maccabee, would say.
Maccabee.
Good for the digestion.
Yes, that's right. If you don't know who Maccabee is, go and find him on Facebook. Want to learn about nutrition and a very fun reggae.
He's a vegan reggae rapper. music artist who knows tons about nutrition.
Fantastic.
He's unbelievable.
And he takes one ingredient or one, a fruit or a vegetable, whatever it is, and he does a reggae. Is it a reggae rap?
It's a reggae rap.
So,
yeah, and then he does every Wednesday. He does What Me Eat Wednesdays.
What Me Eat Wednesday. That's right. It's fantastic. Cucumber is the best one because he calls it cucumber. It is the best. You'll learn in a great fun way, and so will your kids. But he's hit on something that's really effective, isn't it, Jim? Because he's got a lot of followers.
He's awesome.
It's really fun. So, yeah, that's Maccabee. Find him. As I say, I found some information also on dogs naturally. And I guess the biggest question is people are going to ask, does my dog need probiotics? And the answer is yes. Your dog does need probiotics, and she needs them every day is what I'm reading. This is what I'm reading. But probiotic supplements can be expensive. Then sometimes they're not that cheap, and so many pet parents are put off because of the added expense. However, according to Dogs Naturally, there are better ways to give them and not be so expensive. And I feel that figuring out which probiotics are suitable for your pets can be very, very confusing. I hate to, personally, I'm not, Jim is more the supplement guy. He will read and figure out the best one, the ones that don't have fillers in them, the ones that have the correct daily dosage, because that's a big problem. I think people just go, I need vitamin D, and then it's a very low dosage, and they're not going to meet their daily requirements. And so to make it easier for you is always better. It's always better. So I feel like figuring out sometimes which probiotics are suitable for your pets can be a little bit confusing if you haven't started feeding them already or done some research. And I've heard people quiz whether they can actually give probiotics to their pets, and can you give dogs human probiotics? What's the dosage? What's the frequency? And some people say it needs to give them in certain situations, so they get upset stomach. Some say after they've had the surgery, they're taking medication, so they say they need to do it daily. So I understand why.
Well, again, and if you've got the right vet that knows nutrition, you consult your vet always.
Oh, gosh, absolutely.
And consult a vet that knows nutrition and get that advice directly from them. We've done our research. We know what we give our dogs. There are some things that are human-grade stuff that we're approved.
That's right.
To give our dogs. But we do always run it by our vet.
If you find that your vet can't provide you with information, which many of them don't have extensive information on nutrition, you might want to look at looking at another vet or a specialist in nutrition for your pets. Or you could press your vet and say, I have this question, da-da-da-da-da-da. If they say I don't know, say, can you research that for me and get back to me? I think a good vet would do that, don't you, Jim? It all depends on how you ask them, or if you back them into a corner. So, will you get back to me on that? We have a vet who enjoys a question. She enjoys that I have tons of questions, and we have great conversations, and we tend to go over the nutrition every single time we have a visit. We have a little kind of check-in, and I'll say, can I add this in now? What do you think about that? And she gives great advice, and I feel like it's such an important component of health that I think it doesn't get enough focus. Well, I think that goes for humans too. Doesn't it, Jim?
I think so.
It's your building blocks, isn't it?
We learn more about nutrition from our vet for ourselves than we do going to the doctor as well, even though our doctor is excellent.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true.
We don't see our doctor as much as we see the vet sometimes.
That's true as well. So here are the answers that I found for you to those questions, and you'll be surprised by the options, and there's recipes available. Who doesn't love a good old recipe? That means we're doing something with fresh food. Wow, get that. So let's start by understanding what probiotics are, and I think the definitions are important for you to understand so that when you start looking out for them, they'll make sense to you. So probiotics, it's the immune system building blocks. That's what it is. They are live microorganisms that live in various parts of your dog's body, including the gastrointestinal.
You said gastrointernet.
They live in the gastrointernet. Mark that one down for the bloopers, Jim. Or my new dictionary of words I just make up, including the gastrointestinal tract, the oral cavity, vagina, nasal cavity, respiratory organs, and even on the skin. The term probiotic literally means for life. The word comes from the Latin preposition, pro meaning for, and the Greek word bios meaning life. Gosh, we're getting all kinds of education here. Probiotics are often called good bacteria. Keeping a good balance of good versus bad bacteria is vital for your dog's health. Now, there's another thing you will have heard of, prebiotics. And prebiotics feed the probiotics. Prebiotics are various types of preferred foods that nourish the probiotic bacteria and keeps them active. Feeding prebiotics along with probiotics gives your dog symbiotics.
Is coconut oil a prebiotic?
I don't know. It probably is, actually. We'll check. We'll check for you. See how these questions just come up. Symbiotics are the perfect couple, like you and me, Jim. Symbiotic means a beneficial interaction known as a symbiotic relationship between two different things. Prebiotics and probiotics form a perfect couple by working together to keep your dog's body super healthy. Now, the pre and probiotics are simply and naturally a beneficial boost to your dog's diet. It's a boost, yep. The dog's diet, that's another platform to address, she said. This is in the article from Dogs Naturally. There are very tricky marketing terms. This is what irritates me, are those confusing marketing terms that the manufacturers use to confuse you when you're buying your pet's food. This makes it extremely difficult to know if your dog is getting the wholesome diet he needs to stay healthy and active, and skip all the unnecessary and expensive trips to the vet. Absolutely. I think the biggest thing you'll learn is you will have less trips to the vet, less issues with a very healthy dog. And she said they built a very simple calculation tool and formula that you can follow to know exactly what your dog is getting in his food. So you can enter an email. This link is going to go up on our Facebook page. You enter your email and you're going to grab their free 3-part pet food workshop. Get the tools you need to start buying better foods for your dog today. I think that's great. I love a freebie.
Here's a list of the top 33 prebiotic foods, by the way.
Go on, fire them off, Jim.
There's vegetables, fruits, and other. Artichokes, radishes, carrots, cucumbers, asparagus, bell peppers, onion, leeks, jicama, beets, yams, garlic, radishes, greens, chicory root, sweet potatoes, cabbage, tomatoes, apples, berries, bananas, mango, honey, dark chocolate, coconut flour, flaxseed, hemp seed, pumpkin seed, chia seed.
Hang on. Is this for dogs? Because dark chocolate's
peoples.
not for dogs. No. We need for dogs.
They don't have it for dogs.
Of course they do.
They don't have a list.
What was the other, though? What was the oils? The oils in there? Is the coconut in there? We'll find it for pets.
Didn't have
by the way.
oils. Ginger root,
Ignore
wild
the
rice,
dark
quinoa.
chocolate thing.
I'm just telling you what the top 33 prebiotics are.
We'll find you a list. In foods. They were talking about the foods, yeah. So like I said, you can go over to Dogs Naturally and you can put your email in and get that free 3-part pet food workshop and get the tools you need to start buying better foods for your dog. And here's another title they had on this article, which was Important Hangouts for Probiotics. Your dog has trillions and trillions of friends in her body that you didn't even know about. As many as 1,000 different types of bacteria and microorganisms form your dog's microbiome. And that's basically your dog's ecosystem. So as you know, with the ecosystem, you want to keep it balanced and you don't want to disturb it because all manner of things can go wrong. So they said, let's look at your dog's gastrointestinal system to see where probiotics live in her. Beneficial bacteria live in the mouth and keep it healthy.
You could buy Petdophilus, which is a prebiotic for dogs.
Petdophilus. Oh, that would be easy to figure out if it's for pets on the shelf. Good bugs in your dog's mouth can be the first line of defense against viruses and bacteria entering the body. Feeding carbohydrate foods to your dog creates the wrong kind of bacteria in the mouth, causing tartar and plaque to form on his teeth. Now, the next area is the pharynx. Good bacteria in the pharynx helps maintain good health. When the pharynx contains pathogenic bacteria, they will cause pharyngitis and other signs of inflammation. Jim and I, for me, many years ago, pharyngitis, laryngitis, all. I used to get that. You get it once in a while, don't you?
Yeah, it's this weather we have.
So that's not fun. No, it might be the fact that you had some bacteria in there, Jim, causing inflammation. Now, another area is the stomach, pancreas, and gallbladder. The enteric system, a system of neurons that control the gastrointestinal system, continues down the throat and into the stomach. And probiotic bacteria go through the acid in the stomach and need to survive the pancreatic enzymes and bile from the gallbladder. Digestion takes place in the stomach and small intestine, and minerals are absorbed in the small intestine. Now we start making our way down to the colon, and you know where it's going to head after that on the journey. They call the colon probiotic, the probiotic headquarters. So the colon is the HQ, and the colon is where probiotics exert their greatest effect. Studies have shown that probiotics can even help prevent colon cancer in humans. Wonderful, wonderful research on these studies. Some experts question whether probiotics survive their journey to the colon. Sometimes this is a marketing claim for probiotic brands with enteric coatings. In fact, most of the healthy bacteria can travel through the high acid situations, enzymes, and bile in the body. Now, Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride, she's the creator of GAPS, that's GAPS, Gut and Psychology Syndrome. Yes, I've been reading about this, and it's a protocol that she's created. It says that it doesn't matter if the probiotics don't arrive alive in the colon. Even if they're dead, the body can still use their genetic material to benefit the colon. Very, very interesting. What I've been reading recently is, and you'll have heard this term, leaky gut, and it applies to humans as well. They're saying, if you don't have good gut health in your pets, you can have all manner of problems. One of those things for humans that they're saying is anxiety. If you don't have a really healthy stomach and a good fortitude, then you may also be suffering with anxiety as a result of that. Isn't that interesting? Now we're making our way further down, and you know where we're going. The back door, as they call it, the anus. Every time your pet has a bowel movement, hundreds of thousands of bacteria, yeast, and other microbes exit the body. Like, goodbye. You've overstayed your welcome. This is part of the body's detoxification process, and probiotics help remove the toxins. So literally from taking it into the mouth and it making its exit, they're working for the entire body all the way through.
Well, germs are part, like your mother-in-law says in more simple terms. Germs are good for you.
They are, Jim. You're laughing because people would laugh at my mom. My mom was right.
Nothing wrong with a few germs is what she would say.
It's true, because wait till I tell you what's going to happen later on in this article. Anyway, another area is the vagina, and it's not... she said it's not. They don't have an illustration of that, but the probiotics live successfully in the vagina. When puppies are born, they get a first dose of healthy bacteria as they pass through the birth canal. And this is true of human babies too, and C-section babies miss out on this benefit. I would believe that. Interesting. And why does your dog need probiotics? So here we go. The good bacteria are crucial for the health of your dog's gut, but they also support the brain, digestion, assimilation of nutrients, and best of all, the immune system. Boosting your dog's immune system is probably the most important role of probiotics. Now, the immune system, let's tell you a little bit about that. So we're going to go through each of those areas. And I know this is very in-depth, but I think it gives you a very good picture of why you need to use probiotics, why they're so good, and how you're going to take them and administer them, and the ways in which you can do that. So the immune system, as much as 80% of your dog's immune system is based in the gut. So different probiotics pair with almost every different part of the immune system that they know of. Viruses and bacteria enter the body through the mouth, and probiotics are present starting in the mouth and throughout the dog's gastrointestinal tract. Maintaining the good bacteria keeps pathogens in check and is your dog's primal immune system. So you're working from the inside out. And a good balance of probiotics helps reduce inflammation throughout your dog's body, and that lowers her susceptibility to chronic disease.
And interesting, because as we combat Thornton's allergy problems, annually, the vet always prescribes something that we use to help boost her immune system.
Always, yeah. And I say
it goes hand in hand with the nutrition.
Which is working really hard. It's improved so much beyond what she used to be, that poor dog. I mean, it was just, we switched vets and then it was a whole different story. It was really focusing on the food and, some external stuff. Amazing. So it does make a big difference. Now, the digestion, probiotics support digestion as well as assimilation of vitamins and minerals. And they help your dog's body process crucial nutrients like vitamin B12. Now, let's move on to the brain. When you think about this, if you don't eat properly, you feel like you can't function. Your brain is foggy. Don't you feel that way sometimes?
Sometimes I have foggy brain, not very often.
I felt my brain was just fried the other day just from being outside. Oh, I had a whole story, and I'll tell you that later. Crazy story in Vegas. But just being out in the heat, I felt my brain was fried and I couldn't function properly. So the brain. The intestinal microbiome is in charge of producing neurotransmitters and neuropeptides needed for brain health. The gut is filled with nerve cells, so probiotics in the gut can also support brain function. One study showed that mice that lacked gut bacteria behaved differently from normal mice. They engaged in high-risk behaviors. I think that's half of Vegas needs probiotics.
I think being a mouse is a high-risk behavior. I think just the fact that you're a mouse means you're at risk.
Yeah, everybody's after you if you're a mouse. Every day's a risk. It's like running the gauntlet when you're a mouse. Probiotics also synthesize some important hormones, serotonin, for example, and some strains are even effective in DNA repair. They say that the gut is the second brain, but they believe when they see the links from the neurons in the gut to the brain, they're beginning to think that the brain is secondary and the gut is the first and biggest brain. So take care of your gut first, they're saying. Probiotics need prebiotics, as we said earlier. Prebiotics are insoluble fiber that feed the probiotics in the colon. Feeding your dog prebiotic food helps the probiotics stay active and do the job. So they've got to work together. That marriage we talked about earlier, that mariage that we talked about earlier. Add some of the following prebiotic foods to your dog's diet to nourish and support the probiotics you're giving him. Except for garlic, which is very safe in moderation, yeah? And they say the amount isn't important, it's just food. But start out slowly to avoid digestive upsets if your dog isn't used to these fibrous foods. And that's true. Anything new you introduce, you got to take it small amounts, take it slow. Yeah? Did you want to say something?
No, I'm just working on some technical things right now. Okay. Sometimes I just duck in and out of that because I'm trying to work the sound.
So some of those probiotics are bananas, green leafy vegetables, dandelion leaves are especially good. I never see those in the supermarket. Garlic.
Your dogs eat those when we go for walks.
Yeah, they just self-feed themselves.
They self-feed. They eat clover as well.
Garlic, feed it fresh, organic, always go organic, US-grown garlic, or wherever you are, and up to 1 teaspoon per 30 pounds of your dog's weight per day. That seems a lot. And it's funny because some people are a little scared of garlic. So if you're one of those people, then either start with a very small amount or eliminate it and focus on one of the other foods if you feel really uncomfortable with it. Now, apples, our dogs love apples, and mushrooms. Mushrooms, you can see a lot about mushroom supplementation. A lot. But you've got to make sure they're the correct mushrooms. Bananas, I'm going to be making banana peanut butter ice cream for my dogs this weekend. Well, I tried to make it 2 days ago, but I think someone called Jim ate the bananas. So
you don't even understand the concept. Bananas go through a ripening cycle, and if they're not eaten, they must be thrown away. So I eat them before they over-ripen.
Well, if they
ripen... you didn't use them in the time that you needed.
If you over-ripen... Oh, so you're admitting you ate them, because the other day you said you had no idea what happened.
I bought bananas for me. I didn't know there were bananas that needed to be reserved for the dogs.
That's right.
Thornton doesn't even like just to eat bananas.
No, she doesn't.
So you're going to have to hide that somehow in the food.
Well, the ice cream recipe is really simple. It's plain yogurt, it's mashed bananas, and it's some peanut butter. And it's blended up, and then it's going to get poured into some small little silicone molds. They're so spoilt, my babies, but they'll get their bananas. Okay, so when should you give your dog probiotics? So as I said earlier, I've said 1 time a week. Now I'm reading, there's a little bit, you do it more frequently. Here we go. And in the article, I love that they address this. They say the question many people, they disagree on, is this one? So many people have their own opinions on this. Some experts think you should give probiotics to your dog when they have, say, a certain issue, where they've got an upset stomach, they've had some medications, there's stress, mainly antibiotics is what they're talking about here, or any other conventional medication. But they believe that probiotics are such an essential part of your dog's health that you should give them all the time. And they recommend varying your dog's source of probiotics and feeding a lot of probiotic foods. So this doesn't mean a probiotic from the store. This can just be foods, which is very easy to get your hands on. They also like to give probiotics at different times of the day. They'll work differently depending on what's going on in your dog's gastrointestinal tract at the time. Now, this Dr. Campbell McBride advises giving probiotics in between meals to avoid the environment of high gastric juices and acids caused by digestion. So this could be a snack. This could be an afternoon snack, early evening snack. So that's essentially what she's saying is don't try and compete with the acids that's going on and the gastric juices when it's actual mealtime. A note about the antibiotics, she said, is if your dog is taking them, it's a good idea to alternate them with probiotics so that you're constantly trying to limit the damage done by the antibiotic. Yeah, she recommends giving probiotics 2 hours after each antibiotic dose. And she thinks it's more effective than trying to repair the gut after the antibiotics course is over. Yeah, so you kind of repair as you go along. You try and limit the damage from antibiotics instead of letting it go its whole course and saying, oh, let's get their gut in order now. And so it's kind of a preventative thing. Now, she has 6 top ways in which you can give dogs probiotics. And I'm sure there's going to be one that suits you. There are many ways, she says, to give these, and most of them don't involve a pill. Yay, because my dogs don't always take them. No matter how much you con them, wrap them up, disguise them, sometimes they just know. They just know because they can smell it. That's why. Probiotic supplements are really quite expensive, and they are, but probiotic foods are not. Yay! And so these are some of her favorites. Number 1, supplements. She says this is how you make them last. The good news is if you want the convenience of that probiotic supplement that's in a pill or a powder, here's a way to make your jar of pills last much, much longer. But first, you must choose a good supplement. So this is how you're going to choose them. Like I was saying, it gets confusing. There's too many. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to look at. And she said there are many available, hard to know what to buy. And what's, specifically good for dogs, but may not be good for humans or is good for humans. So she uses, you should write this down, Jim. She uses a probiotic called Garden of Life's Primal Defense. She's used it for 30 years. It's non-dairy. It's made from whole foods and contains soil-based that's what I said, soil-based organisms, all mammals. And she said probably birds and reptiles that live on land benefit from soil-based organisms. They lay the basic groundwork that allow our bodies and other pets to be able to work for health. Some supplements made for dogs are limited to just 1 or 2 strains of bacteria, as there's a theory dogs need different bacteria from humans. But it's not true, she says, that they have to have certain probiotic strains for dogs, and she prefers to give dogs a variety of probiotic strains. Good probiotic supplements are really expensive, she said, but here's a way to make them go further. Yeah, this is the kind of info we want. This is the info we want. Make probiotic supplements last so much longer. So this is going to be easier on your wallet. And what you're going to do is, and this is a word that we use in England a lot, but I don't hear it here. Just use your supplement to inoculate some raw goat's milk, organic milk, or even low-temperature pasteurized grass-fed organic milk that's not homogenized. And if you have to, you can use pasteurized milk or even lactate. And what you'll do is you'll take one of those little capsules of your probiotic into a pint of whatever milk you're going to choose, and excuse me, it's going to be kept in the refrigerator after that. And she makes a new pint every week, but you could inoculate a quart jar if feeding more mouths. So that's a great way to stretch that out. This is going to make you raise some eyebrows because I've eaten this. It's gross. And that is kimchi and other fermented veggies. I used to live in Korea. Kimchi, no. That's all I'm saying. Fermented vegetables, and they are extraordinarily nutritious, she says, and highly bioavailable.
I love sauerkraut.
Do you really?
I just have to say that.
Is that a similar kind of thing?
It's
but that's
fermented.
pickled, isn't it? Isn't that just pickle? I don't know.
Oh, it's fermented, I think.
Gross. So your dog might not have eaten kimchi. Not many, I can imagine, unless you're a Korean dog, unless she's been raiding the garbage and found some fermenting vegetables. But those fermented foods mimic the gut contents of prey. Very interesting. They're already pre-digested, and the fermenting process multiplies the good bacteria and enzymes that are naturally in the food. Now, of course, you're not going to advocate for your dog getting into the trash and eating some old vegetable peelings, but there is a recipe. There is a recipe. Now, I'm not going to go through the recipes because that could be rather boring without a video. But these recipes will go up on my Facebook page, and that's Vegas Rock Dog Radio. So that's the kimchi recipe. There's also a brine that you have to make as well. There's number 3 is raw goat's milk, becoming very popular. There's also a powdered one now available. It is abundant in natural probiotics, and it has very little lactose. So that's the sugar that you find in cow's milk. And she doesn't cause the same digestive issues as normal dairy. So goat's milk would be good for you, Jim.
Well, I just drink cashew milk and almond milk.
You do, yeah. You've just kind of stuck with that, haven't you, for quite some time?
Fermented vegetables made me think about the raw apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
That's a fermented
it
thing.
Is. I'm sure kombucha, isn't that the same thing? It has that almost like a slight fizz, vinegary, soury. Ugh. And you have to just convince yourself when you're drinking it, it's doing me some good, because it's not that great when it goes down. You can also add probiotic supplement to your goat's milk, as she mentioned earlier, and that stretches it out a little bit further. And she's got some recommendations on the dosage. So, for example, up to a 20-pound dog, you're going to give them 2 ounces daily. Yeah? And of course, if you can find a local source of raw goat's milk, I don't think we have a goat farm anywhere near us, do we, Jim?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Now, kefir's another one. You're going to start hearing a lot more about kefir as well. We started to look into that for ourselves, didn't we, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
Kefir is another fermented food, and it's packed with natural probiotics, and most dogs love it as a topping on their food or as a separate snack. And you can buy kefir at the grocery store, but be careful, it is unsweetened. Yes, again, goat's milk, she says, is a better option for dogs than cows, and then you've got your kefir.
Maccabee talks about sour foods being good for the digestion.
You can make your own kefir, believe it or not. That's amazing. And she likes making water kefir or coconut kefir. And again, we've got a bunch of recipes for you, which is wonderful. Oh, it's done with grains, kefir grains. Fantastic. Really, really great, good information. There's the coconut milk kefir recipe as well. Now, I've never heard of this. Kvass. Have you heard of kvass?
No.
It's a Baltic or Slavic fermented beverage that's rich in probiotics. And she said, that's it. You're going to just, it's really simple to make up. It's got beets in it, fresh from your garden if you can. Yeah, if you're in Vegas, you're lucky you can grow anything in the ground out here. And she shows you how to add burdock root, ginger, turmeric. Again, another popular supplementation that people are adding into their pets' diets. And then you're going to let that sit on the counter for 3 or 4 days. Yum, yum.
Is your golden paste a prebiotic food?
Yes, it will be. I bet it is. I bet it is, yeah. Yeah, we'll do a little bit more research into that as well. I'll put up the golden paste recipe too for you and your dogs. Number 6, the last one is just let your dog be a dog. Finally, she says, one of my favorite ways is just to get soil-based microorganisms into your dog's system. That's it. Let your dog play in the dirt. You see, Irene was right after all, my mum. She was right. A little bit of germs is good for you. Dogs love digging and romping in the mud. Yes, Mr. Twix in particular loves it. Drinking filthy water and, yes, eating various kinds of poop. Pigeon, rabbit, and goose poop are some family favorites. So indulge your dog. Let them be a dog. It's a great way to help your dog build a healthy immune system as well as enjoy some fun and play and wrecking your garden, as Mr. Twix likes to do. And you'll share in the joy of your pet's being out in nature and just being a dog. And when it comes to probiotics for dogs, there are lots of different ways to give them. And using probiotic foods is, as well as supplements, boosts your dog's diet with a myriad of nutritional benefits to keep your dog glowing with health. Love it, love it, love it, love it. This is all stuff that you can actually put into your dog's diet quite easily. You probably already buy some of those foods yourself anyway. And she says it's important to make sure your dog's current diet is giving him what he needs to begin with. Very important. This is not something you should just focus on and then not focus on the actual diet itself. This is meant to give it a really good boost, to really maximize the effect of the diet. Yeah. So just make sure they're not missing any vital nutrition. Well, I think that's a great insight into probiotics and prebiotics, and this link will go up, and very, very interesting, very easy to include into your pet's diet. Right, guys, we'll be right back.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Welcome to Barking Dog Self-Washing Grooming, your one-stop shop for all your pet's needs. We offer premium natural pet foods, full-service grooming, and an on-site bakery and boutique. You can choose to self-wash your dog or schedule a luxury pampering with our professional groomers. Visit our Cool Cat section offering feline food, toys, bedding, and litter, while the adventurous dog department has everything you need for your outdoor activities. And don't forget Cody's Healing Garden, featuring flower, aromatherapy, and herbal remedies for pets. Find us at www.barkingdogslv.com, and we look forward to seeing you in our neighborhood.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs, if you're just listening into the show. And I just covered prebiotics and probiotics, mainly probiotics. The link will go up on Vegas Rock Dog Radio on our Facebook page. And, of course, you can listen to the archive show later on today when we get it up online and get that information. I think it's very valuable. And it's something that I think we'll see more and more people doing and adding into their dog's diet to make them even more healthy. It's interesting how things are shifting. Nutrition is a big thing for 2017. People are waking up and asking more questions, and we love that. So let's move on to something that sounds absolutely horrible. It's called the Alabama rot. Have you ever heard of that?
Nope.
You've never heard of it. It was first reported in Racing Greyhounds. And Dr. Karen Becker did a little bit of, poking around into this. And there's been some headlines in the UK, strangely enough, on Alabama rot. And the headline in one of the publications was Alabama rot is spreading and killing dogs, and here's how to stop it. Many people have never heard of it, and I've probably only heard of it the last couple of years. But it has a very formal, idiopathic, cutaneous name and renal glomerular vasculopathy, also known as CRGV. You're impressed by how I said that, aren't you, Jim? Since it sounds completely horrible and is indeed, she said, a very terrible and potentially fatal disease, she wanted to give some insight, especially for any UK people. And that's a lot of my people are the UK people, because it sounds dreadful. So it was first discovered in greyhounds in the 80s, but racing greyhounds. And according to Greyhound Companions of New Mexico, it's a non-profit organization. And these are wonderful people who rescue these retired racing greyhounds. It's thought to be associated with toxins produced by bacteria as, like E. coli, which we know you get that as a human, and that is horrific. And it's commonly found in raw meat that the dogs are fed. Yeah?
I'm waiting with bated breath for the nugget on this.
Okay. So like I said, raw meat. That does not mean, if you're a raw feeder, that what you feed is going to have E. coli in it. Because, and this is what's important to note, the greyhound protection groups have alleged that these breeders that breed these racing dogs feed their dogs what they call a 4D meat. This is the problem. Do you know what the 4D meat is, Jim?
A bad meat, a low-grade meat.
It's a low...
garbage meat.
Because it doesn't cost much, yeah? And across racetracks in the US, the dogs are fed this diet of 4D meat, and why it's called 4Ds is it's from meat that's derived from dying, diseased, disabled, and dead livestock, and it's been deemed unfit for human consumption. And I would say that's unfit for dogs too. But people who raise greyhounds don't care about them. They just don't. Horrible, horrible, horrible sport. It's not even a sport, is it? It's just cruelty. The U.S. Department of Agriculture requires that charcoal be added to this meat to discourage human use. Without the charcoal, you're not going to eat that. Oh, wow. Thanks for that, you know. And according to the dog racing industry, there's a handbook, and 4D meat is used as commercial dog tracks because it's deemed economical and just makes more sense, they say, for the industry at this time. Yeah, okay. It's amazing how people will justify the horrible things that they do to animals. Because it's good for them and it benefits them, they'll find some crazy excuse to give you a benefit. Ridiculous. Anyway, the dog racing industry, of course, defends it. Of course they do, because it's to their benefit. And they claim, it's also used by commercial pet food companies. And that can be true. You have to know that. It can be true that 4D meat is found in some commercial foods. And it's really distinctive because it's fed, this kind of meat is fed raw. So now you've got a horrible grade meat, and it's fed raw, so you've got no chance of killing bacteria. Oh, horrible. Now, of course, we know cooking will kill bacteria, but they're not cooking the food for them. They go, it impacts their ability to race if we give them cooked food, yeah. Well, it impacts them when they're really ill, too. And it doesn't appear, apparently, that the cases in the UK are linked to E. coli. So, and the first cases of Alabama rot were in 2012 in England, and they affected a wide range of breeds, including a greyhound, but it affected other breeds too. And since then, the disease has spread. When they've had 80 cases, they've had 80 cases since December last year. I suspect there's more. And like she said, it doesn't seem to correspond with E. coli breakout.
What are the symptoms of the Alabama rot?
I'm getting to that in a second, Jim.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, I know. So the vets are a little bit, unsure of what on earth is causing it. And the first reports, as I say, were in 2012. The dogs came sick in New Forest in England. And they believe the pets are exposed, are coming in some kind of contact with bacteria from rotting vegetation or in streams or ponds or out walking, yeah? Because there are some very dangerous things out there in nature, there are. And so Pippa Elliott, she's a veterinarian in England, her tests have ruled out E. coli, and they're currently focusing on a bacteria called aeruginosa. And she said part of the problem is that the toxin can be long gone by the time the dog becomes ill. So her analogy is it's like being a hit and run victim. Your dog is seriously injured, and then there's no evidence to say what the vehicle's license plate was. So it gets the bacteria, and then it disappears, but then your dog is left being ill and go, what on earth caused it? And Germany, they've had a case. They had one case 15 years ago, just one case. So 10 years before the 2012 breakout, but they said long after the CRGV was discovered in the US greyhounds, a report surfaced that a Great Dane in Germany become ill within a few hours of walking along the shore of the North Sea. And ultimately, the poor dog lost its life, and the post-mortem revealed that it had lesions consistent with those with the US greyhounds and Alabama rot. Yeah. So in addition, the exam revealed some abnormalities similar to the hemolytic syndrome seen in humans from Shiga toxin producing E. coli that is often linked to eating undercooked hamburger
I'm still
meat.
waiting for you to get to the symptoms.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're teasing.
I'm not teasing.
I'm still waiting.
I'm just methodically going through the information. Anyway, what's confusing it even further is the analysis of the dog's intestinal samples showed no evidence of this STEC. So the disease symptoms and the diagnosis, the primary warning is a distinct swelling, a red patch of skin, or the development of small ulcerations, typically on the face, tongue, stomach, and back of the legs. And if you have a long-haired dog, it's obviously going to be much more difficult to actually see it under their hair and spot these lesions. Some other symptoms are lethargy, vomiting, and loss of appetite. And, of course, that can easily be thought to be, a GI problem. And the symptoms tend to appear between 2 and 7 days after the skin signs. So this is going to come, so this is not all going to happen at once, apparently. And it indicates the disease is doing some damage to the dog's kidneys and require immediate veterinary intervention. This is horrible. Fortunately, she says, some of the disease never gets to progress to the kidney damage, and those dogs generally recover. But about 25% of dogs do develop these kidney problems. But if you treat it promptly, they can make a proper recovery. Wow. So the definitive diagnosis of Alabama rot is done with a kidney biopsy. Wow. But then by then they said the damage is usually irreversible. That's terrible. A better approach is if you're concerned about red skin or ulcers on your dog that have no obvious cause, is to ask your vet to measure your pet's kidney function with a blood test and urinalysis. So if you've been out in nature and you notice these lesions, red skin or ulcers, then don't wait for it to just go away, and you will need to ask for a kidney function blood test. And if they obviously get worse and worse, you're going to repeat those tests to know whether kidneys are being damaged, further over time. So how on earth are you going to treat and prevent this? I mean, this is just horrible, isn't it? And of course, they've not found the cause, so that makes it a little bit difficult. Conventional veterinary medicine doesn't.
Does this bring us back to pre and probiotics?
Oh, it could do. Well, it would be something to definitely make sure you've got it in your diet so they can fight anything that's going on.
A lot of suspense right now.
They said they don't offer a whole lot to offer these dogs that get this CRGV. Early and intensive treatment can improve the prognosis, but if the kidneys are damaged, the outlook is really poor. And she said her approach would to be aggressive with fluid therapy, IV, vitamin C therapy, ozone therapy, and hyperbaric oxygen to address the vasculitis. She would also treat the lesions with natural disinfectants and antimicrobials, along with immediately instituting natural kidney support. Wow, this is horrible. Now imagine you're in a city where they've never had this. Maybe you've been traveling, you've come back and your dog's got this. It's not something that vets going, like I said, they don't fully know exactly what causes it. And then if you don't see it in your city, it may be one of those things where you think, oh, let's try this, let's try that. It's not going to be obvious.
Well, luckily, too, this isn't something that's widespread.
Thank goodness, yeah. It says if you're in the UK, it's important to know that while Alabama rot is certainly terrifying, and it seems to be spreading, a number of dogs have actually acquired the disease is actually quite small, yeah? So just look out for that. If you're out and about and your dogs love the forest and the ponds and the ocean and all of that stuff, just check them over, especially the long-haired ones, when you get home. So according to Vets for Pets, and that's in the UK, the condition seems to be picked up on the paws and legs on muddy walks. And it's important to always wash off woodland mud. Keep your eyes peeled for signs of that CRGV and call your vet if you have any questions or concerns. Absolutely. You can also search a map of confirmed cases as well. I'll try and find that map for you, and I will put that up on our Facebook page if you're in the UK. Oh, that's so scary, isn't it? Well, after we've done that awful story, I do have just a quick one to close out the show, Jim. Do you know who Constable Elliot is?
I don't.
Do you know what a constable is?
Yes. It's a lawman, a local lawman.
A local lawman? We use constable a lot in England, yeah?
It's a local lawman.
Well, New Zealand police force has a new constable, and his name is Elliot.
And he's probably a dog.
He's a guinea pig!
What's
Oh, he has a really important function. He's not just there for show, yeah?
Does he go get truant kids that are not in school or something?
Wouldn't that be funny? Our constable guinea pig, Constable Elliot guinea pig, is here to find out why you're not in school. What does he do? He knocks on the door, on the bottom of the door. This is what he does. He wears a hat. He wears a police hat. This is in New Zealand, so he's joined the police force. I just love this. He wears a hat. He wears a little vest that's got the police thing on it. And he educates Kiwis about road safety. I said he has a very important role, and he's very popular and rather busy. But if I was being a truant kid, I'd love it if Constable Elliot came to my door to find out why I wasn't in school. But very, very cute. You should see with that hat on. Hilarious. He belongs to one of their media team and doing a great job bringing in awareness. Gotta love that. I'm so glad we finished on that story.
Yeah, because I was all sucked into the
Alabama rot.
Alabama
It's
rot.
just a terrible name. I think they should change the name of that. Well, all these links are going to go up on Facebook, so you don't have to search around the internet, and they'll be on the show notes on the archive show, so we make it super easy for you to get this information. Well, Jim, that's the end of the show.
Yay.
Remember, Remember.
What do you want me to say?
Like, oh,
Oh.
let's go on for longer.
Oh.
Remember, you can help an animal in need. Either rescue, adopt, donate, volunteer, share their information, add some probiotics and prebiotics to their diet, rescue your next family member, replace the word shop with adopt, and be kind to all animals. Jim, thank you for being my co-host today. Thank you for Mr. Twix and Thornton just sleeping here in the studio. And we always like to remember our girl Galaxy, who is in puppy heaven. And it's been a great, interesting show today. And I'm so glad that you listened in. Now, if you wouldn't mind, take a moment, run over to our Facebook page and our Instagram and our Twitter and follow us on there. Just search Vegas Rock Dog or Vegas Rock Dog Radio. All those accounts belong to us. And of course, we love to see pictures and videos of your pets. So don't be shy, post them on our Facebook page. Well, today you've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio, where it is all about our pets, people, and pop culture. I'm your host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. And always kiss your pets good morning and good night. And I'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Visit Vegas Rock Dog Radio for more information. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And subscribe on iTunes and iHeartRadio. And remember, give your fur babies a big kiss from me, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. You must not rely on the information in this broadcast from our host as an alternative to medical advice from your veterinarian. If you have any specific questions about a medical matter regarding your pets, you should consult your veterinarian or specialist.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.